So, it looks like my adventures in the desert continues. But this time, we flew to Phoenix, Arizona with my workmates, and from there, we rented a car and started our journey towards Sedona. As it has been a trend for me a while now, I used my iPhone as a main camera for video, and once again, I think the footage came out really nice. I actually didn't take too many photos this time, even though I had my Fuji X-T4 and Fuji X100 Mark VI with me the whole time, but I'll toss in some of my favorites here and there. For a Finn, just the drive to Sedona provided some amazing scenery. All these mountains, cacti, sand dunes and everything took me back to those movies I used to watch as a kid, and naturally, I was loving it. After a couple of hours, we arrived to our hotel in Sedona. Almost every room had a view of the mountains, and the staff mentioned that every mountain would change its color throughout the day. Oh, and I brought a drone with me. Technically, it was forbidden to fly there, but I guess I am a sneaky guy. And the staff was definitely right. Those mountains just kept changing colors throughout the night. This awesome individual is Bryce, and besides his camo overalls, he also brought his Pentax 35mm film camera with him. Good stuff! When the sun was slowly setting, the mountains just kept changing color and we almost got a full moon to ourselves. Sedona is known for these vortexes where you should be experiencing and feeling a center of energy around you, and people believe these vortexes can help you with your spiritual journey. I don't know about that, but the energy overall was pretty sweet after the first day. Early next morning, I went for a morning walk and stumbled on this little fella. I first thought it was a wild boar, you know, a boomba or something, but it turned out to be a javelina. My mistake there, little buddy. Anyways, the morning was beautiful, and before any work, some of us, including me, went for a cheap safari instead of a mountain biking session under the boiling sun of the desert. Definitely a right call there. I have done some cheap safaris throughout the years, but this was definitely one of the bumpiest roads I have ever been to. Our plan was to take this old service road up to the mountains for ever better view of the valley. Luckily, I decided to bring my camera with me, since I really like these bright, early morning landscape photos. These could be a postcards or something. It wasn't much of a hike or anything, but it was pretty nice to walk these small paths around the mountain and snap some more photos. And on top of that mountain, we had ourselves a pretty majestic view. As I mentioned before, you were not supposed to fly with your drone there at all. But luckily, our guides turned out to be a pretty smooth criminal. I guess now it's a great time to talk about the sponsor of this video, which is Hohem, and especially their latest smartphone gimbal called iSteady V3. It is super compact but yet powerful AI-powered gimbal that I used most of the trip with me. And I gotta say, I was super impressed how sturdy and powerful it is for such a small device. And the fact that you can extend it like a telescope and it can stand alone with the small built-in legs just makes it a super versatile device. With just a click of a button, you can switch between the landscape and portrait mode, and the same thing for turning the camera 180 degrees for a selfie mode. This small attachable light also serves as an AI tracker. Also, this small controller can be detached from the gimbal, and you can even start and stop recording with the press of a button. I used iSteady V3 even during the Jeep Safari, and as you can see here, it makes this otherwise totally unusable footage perfectly acceptable. And I think this kind of a terrain is as bad as it gets. But otherwise, these smooth pans and tilts are so easy to accomplish that this thing will for sure elevate my videos from now on. Thank you Hohem for sending me this, much appreciated. Next morning, we decided to wake up early for a hike for this famous nature-made stone bridge called Devil's Bridge. You know, those stone arches similar to ones from cartoons from your childhood. I think these few photos from our ride to the hike inside a bus turned out to be my favorites from this trip. The way the early morning sun was shining through the bus windows made these photos really cinematic, and I of course appreciate everything cinematic. But the hike itself was a beautiful stroll through these small paths in the desert, filled with orange stones, rocks, sand, and other wildlife, none of which, of course, startled me at all. The stone bridge itself was a nice bonus for the hike. Definitely worth it if you ever happen to be close by. These two photos are from the next day when we returned back to Phoenix before our flights back home. Just wanted to include them here since I think they turned out quite nice. But that's it. I hope you like this vlog type of video. Thanks for watching, hit the subscribe and everything, and see you next time.